Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a pregnancy Q&A slash update. I did a poll on my Instagram and my Snapchat to kind of see what questions everyone would have regarding my pregnancy. I want to say thank you guys for asking me questions if you did ask me questions. So the first question is, when is my due date? My due date is January 11th, 2020. It's coming up really fast. Do you have names picked out, or are you going to keep it a surprise until the baby arrives? We do have names picked out that we really do like. I basically just have a list of them on my phone. We do have a favorite at the moment. We don't want to announce his name before we are for sure that we really want to keep that name. I know that a lot of people change their mind once they have their child. When you give birth and you're looking at your kid's face, sometimes that name doesn't fit their face or like their personality. So unfortunately, we only tell family and close friends right now. If in the next few months I kind of really stick to a name that I think will for sure be his name, I may announce it, but I'm not sure yet. Does it scare you to give birth and have a kid? It does scare me to go into labor and become a mom and, you know, experience everything a parent does, but I think more so the fear is outweighed by the excitement. I am definitely scared of the pain that I'm going to be feeling that day. Mentally, you can't really prepare yourself for that pain, but I am also excited to meet my son. Have you had any weird cravings? This is actually a funny one because I hear a lot of people say when you're pregnant, you want the weirdest things in the world. I feel like I've only had sort of weird cravings. The main thing that I really like to eat are pickles and popcorn together. The other night, I actually really was craving pizza with strawberry jelly on it. I know that sounds disgusting, but at the time, it sounded so good to me. But other than that, you know, simple cravings, I really crave cold stuff, like a slushie or ice cream or just really, really, really cold water. I don't know if that's really a craving or it's just me being me. Do you have a birth plan? I'm going back and forth on things because really I just want best for my son. I don't really want to stick with a birth plan, and obviously things can happen. Like if I stick with vaginal, something can happen where we have to do an emergency C-section, and I'm comfortable with that as long as he's okay. I do hope that I can do a vaginal birth. I don't think I can do it unmedicated. I know a lot of people are probably like, oh yeah, girl, you can do it unmedicated, you got it. But like personally, I'm not good with pain, and I feel like I'd be a lot more comfortable. I'd enjoy the moment a little bit more if I wasn't in excruciating pain. What exactly has made your pregnancy rough? I know in my first video, I kind of touched a little bit on my pregnancy being rough so far, and I didn't really get into it just because there are a lot of things that contribute to it. I think the main thing is mentality. I have a lot of days where I feel like I can't be the mom that he wants me to be, and some days I feel differently. I feel like I just have a lot of doubt on myself, and I probably shouldn't, because becoming a new parent is obviously scary, but I feel like I can do it. I can definitely do it. I'm gonna do what's best for him and I and my boyfriend, and nothing is gonna stop that. I definitely do think that the physical parts of pregnancy are rough as well. I do experience a lot of back pain, a lot of like round ligament pain, because everything is stretching. Obviously, there's a child growing in me. I do get nauseous every single day, which can be, you know, exhausting on someone to be sick constantly. It's definitely no fun. But other than that, really, it's been great. I've enjoyed feeling my son and just knowing that he's there. What are you most excited about the baby coming? What scares you? I think the most exciting thing is getting to see his little face. I really am excited to meet him and get to know his personality, get to know him, and just see who he looks more like. My boyfriend and I, we have crazy personalities, so I feel like he's gonna get that as well. I think the part that scares me the most is definitely the birth, and I I'm afraid to go through the trial and errors as a parent. Obviously that's normal, it's going to happen. I just feel scared, but I will have to learn. Eventually I will have to learn, and I will have to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. Everyone's going to make mistakes as a parent, but learning from those mistakes really guides you and strengthens you as a person. Will you be doing a birth video? I don't know if I will or not. I feel like I will probably record the day that I give birth to my son just to experience it on my own and personally have that for in the future just to look back on, because it's definitely something so crazy. I'm not sure if I'm going to post any type of like birth vlog or birth video, but if I get more comfortable down the road, I definitely will. How many kids do you want? I feel like I want at most 4. I do think the way this pregnancy has been going, it's very rough for me. It will take me a while to want to have another kid in the future. I want to give my son siblings, and I most likely will down the road, but as of right now, I think we will wait until he is at least like 3 or 4 years old, or maybe even older, just so we can have time to enjoy him alone. What age are you thinking of having more kids? Like I said in the previous question, it doesn't really matter about my age. I feel like it's more so about my son. I just want to give him as much attention as I can while I can before, we add to the family. Were you scared of the reactions from your friends and family? I was definitely scared because, telling such a big thing to your family and your friends can leave a lot of tension. I know that I have told a few people, or they have found out from my school, and if you are here from my school, you can kind of see that I don't really care about the negative opinions on my pregnancy. It doesn't really bother me, because I feel like if you want to talk so negatively and strongly about someone else's life, it's kind of like, it's really sad to think about. I personally want to see everyone do positive things, and I want to see people do good things. Even if I have enemies, I don't want to see them go down a bad road. I don't want to wish them anything bad. I was mainly afraid for my family's reaction instead of friends or people from school or something like that, because family does mean a lot to me, and I was afraid that a lot of people would abandon me and not really be there for me. I definitely think that I have grown relationships in this. The relationship with my mother is better than it used to be. Obviously, when I started to grow up and become more of my own person and things like that, my mother and I kind of grew apart. I think it's also because she's starting to enjoy her life a little bit more and do the things she didn't get to do as a parent. No matter what, our relationship will always be strong, and I'm really grateful that I have the chance to give her a grandchild. Some relationships with family have definitely grown apart, and that's completely okay. At first it kind of upset me because obviously I was going through a whole bunch of change. I still am, but I think I'm grasping the situation a little bit more, just because it's not only about me anymore, it's about my son. I'm not going to dwell on people that don't want to be here. If they don't want to be in my son's life, that's okay, because he will have me, he will have the people that want to support him and that want to love him. What are your thoughts on preschool? This is actually a really good question. I do want to do preschool if I can. I've always loved the thought of homeschooling my children, just because I get that experience to teach them and guide them in life, and it'd be nice to do that. But I also feel like if I'm not mentally ready to do that, or I don't feel like I'm good enough to do that, I will definitely do preschool. Are you planning to breastfeed? Currently, I am planning to breastfeed. If something happens and my son won't latch, or I just can't produce enough for him, I will obviously turn to formula. I really don't want to do that, but I will if it comes down to that. Breastfeeding is so beautiful. It allows you to bond with your baby in such a magical way, and I would love to have moments with my son just knowing that my body is giving him the nutrients that he needs. Did you have any girl names picked out? I personally thought that I was having a girl. In my first trimester, I had dreams of him being a female. I thought that it was a sign. I was like, oh, it's definitely a sign. It's a female, it's a girl. That's it. After that, I started picking out girl names, and my boyfriend and I both liked a few names. I definitely fell in love with a few names.
Although the script was flipped on me.
I'm still so happy that I'm having a boy. We are grateful either way. Did you ever see yourself having kids at 19 when you were growing up? When I was growing up, I was kind of raised on the thought of not having kids until you're like 20 or 30. When you're growing up, you're not focusing on the logic of it all. When you're a kid, you play with your Barbies, you play with your baby dolls, and you're like, oh, I want to be a mommy one day, but you don't think about how hard it's going to be because life seems so easy then. So I didn't see myself having kids until maybe like 25 or 30 years old. Even though I'm 19 and having my first child, I don't regret any of it all. I don't see myself as a disappointment. I don't see myself as a failure. I see my life just starting. And a lot of people say they see their life ending when they have a child because you can't do the same things you used to do. But I feel that my son is giving me a chance to branch out and actually get to know me and get to know what I want to do with my life. I not only want to benefit him, but I want to benefit myself as well. This experience is going to help me grow spiritually, mentally, and physically, and it has in multiple ways. That is all the questions I have for today. I do want to say thank you to the people that reached out and asked me questions. I appreciate them all. In this video, I also wanted to do a little update. I am currently 18 weeks pregnant. I had an ultrasound about 2 days ago where I was able to see my son. A few of the things that I found out yesterday are not necessarily alarming. They're just, I wasn't expecting them to happen. The first thing is my OB did tell me that he is currently breached, which means that my baby's feet are down instead of his head being down. His head is basically he's just sitting straight up chilling. He has plenty of time to flip. I'm not really worried about it. He's obviously going to move a lot and going to flip a lot. I'll only get worried if I get in my third trimester close to my due date and he is not flipped. Another thing I found out, which I didn't really expect to hear, was my son is above average weight for a normal baby at 18 weeks. Around 18 weeks, babies can be around like 5 to 6, sometimes 7 ounces. And my son is 8 ounces. So he's a heavier baby. It's not a risk. It's not anything bad right now because he does have time to fluctuate his weight. He is healthy and that's all I'm concerned about. Really, we just saw his foot and his face, and they confirmed that it's a boy again. I did have the genetic testing early, around 10 weeks I believe, to do a DNA test and also test for Down syndrome and things like that, and that's when I did find out he is a boy. Some of the symptoms I have been experiencing are still the ones that I have complained about before. I still do feel sick constantly, my back is aching, my legs have started to have cramps in them when I walk during the day. It is painful, but it's bearable. Other than that, nothing has really changed so far. I just want to thank you guys for watching again, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, please like this video, and comment down below if you still have any questions I didn't touch base on. Also comment some ideas for future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.